That was Samantha Mumba with What's It Gonna Be? Now it's a Thursday afternoon, it's the 12th of February 2026. The time's just gone 5 past 5, which means I can say hello to my guest for the day, as usual on a Thursday, who I've seen recently too in real time. Hello, Anne.
Hello, it is great to be here.
Now, of course, let's just reference that I've seen you recently bit because over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, was the Hand in Hand conference in West Bromwich in
Mm.
England, in the middle, fine Birmingham. You're not too far away. We were there doing some live radio interviews, and you were there with a stand, and also you were doing one of the speaky bits as well.
I know, I had a great weekend. It was so lovely to see you there. It's like, oh, I love seeing people in the flesh because it like living in Jersey, like obviously there are my friends here, and my colleagues, but to meet people that I connect with on Zoom, to see them, in real time is really lovely.
Yes, just to be clear, there are other people on Jersey, but there are more people elsewhere too, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Now, we got to meet your cheat at the conference because you had a baby on the stand who had no socks on at one point. Ollie and Helen Goldenberg, they're the people that are managing all the amazing people that make Hand in Hand happen. And
Mhm.
your stand was a lady called Rachel. Rachel brought her baby Lydia, and Rachel was doing something to Lydia, I think perhaps nappy change because it's a little baby, and then took the socks off. And as Ollie pointed out, that's cheating in terms of getting people to your stand. 3-month-old baby, no socks. Really? That's one way of doing it.
Oh, she was just a blessing. It was one of those. It was like because it's my first conference doing this with Hand in Hand, and shout out to Ollie and Helen for a remarkable effort of just drawing folks around the country for that was just super. But they said to me, knowing that it was my first time exhibiting and speaking, you probably would appreciate having someone else on your stand. So I'm thinking, who am I going to bring over? I'm not bringing anybody over from Jersey. And there was just like, I put it out there. Anybody in the UK want to come and help me? And Rachel, bless her, she's been involved or she's been connected to me. I'd never met her before. But she's been connected to sensory health services, to Santé for some time, and she says, yeah, I can manage it. I've got a 3-month-old baby. Is that okay? And I said, we would love that. As you say, it was a beautiful draw. But goodness me, how beautifully stable and secure is their relationship. And so little one was just fantastic. But it's a lot. I mean, talk about sensory experiences. The overload and the overwhelm in that place was significant. But it's one of those occasions where you just think this is so good that I'm gonna roll with it. I will need a day or two to recover, if not three. But it's so good. I can still get on and do my normal stuff because I've got a pretty good sensory processing and integrative state, and my sensory health is pretty good. But it was tiring, but wonderful just to be able to talk with people and share and hear and to be able to offer support and say, look, you don't have to struggle on alone. This is the whole point in me being here, is that there are solutions to the issues that you're facing, either in your church or as a person. There were loads of people who came up to me who said, well, actually, I think I'm autistic, or I've now got my diagnosis, or yes, I really struggle with this, or I can't keep quiet in church. What can what can we do about that? So to have those conversations was just brilliant.
We discovered a new thing. So when we're doing our interviews, of course, we don't charge. Just that's not how this works. However, in the middle of an interview with Bob from Rural Missions, Helen
Mm.
comes up to the stand and says to Stephen D, who's kind of managing all the guests coming through, is it okay if I interrupt them? I know they're on air, but can I offer them some cake? To which Stephen said, well, sensibly, yes, you can. Because seriously, I'd have had real chats if it had said, no, you're not taking cake. So she presented us with cake on air, which then became a thing because we have a biscuit bandit in the house, which is all about Peter. He was given 6 biscuits to bring to the studio. Only 5 turned up. And as he came down, I'm talking on air about where's the 6th biscuit? Like, this is terrible. And he's got a face full of biscuits, like, there's the biscuit bandit. So when Helen came up with the cake for us to have, I thought, hey, we need a cake tax for future guests. Yes, I'll talk to you if you bring me some cake. So we had some fun
But
with
how
that
do you
one.
talk? My first thought was how do you do radio when you've got your mouth full of cake? That's where I was a bit confused about why you would actually want cake.
I put it to one side until I finished.
Okay. So the reward comes afterwards. Okay, get
The
it.
reward comes afterwards. It was a really good conference, in different ways. We have learned, as obviously we're 2.5 years old as of doing radio. One of the things we learned is if it's a noisy environment, you end up speaking quite a lot louder. We understand that.
Mm.
When you're on radio, having to have a conversation with someone perhaps a meter away, because you don't want to get too much into personal space. One of the things we learned is we put headphones on so that the microphones are in a separate loop, so all you can hear is each other's voices in the headphones, which means we can talk at a nice sensible volume. The noise of the room is going up and up and up as 800 people or whatever it is start to come
Mm.
through, and we're okay. We've got effectively not chosen, but nearly the same noise cancelling headphones, which enable us to have a normal conversation without shouting. Because otherwise, two things happens. One, you start shouting at each other. That's really, really bad. When you're shouting at people in a conversation, you don't have to be angry, but as soon as your voice is getting to that level of shouting, now you sound angry, even if you're happy, because you're trying to raise your voice. So that's never a good conversation. The second thing is you get a hoarse voice.
Mm.
My voice right now is amazing, by the way, compared to what it was before we went. But that's why we have that. So we've learned. And in the same context, if you're struggling with your audio processing issues in your ears or brain, whatever's going on, there are things you can do to help. So I guess we have become more accustomed to seeing people, not so much in headphones, but as ear defenders, because it blocks out some of the noise, not all of it, almost all of it, which means we can get on with the day.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that they have become so much more normalized for anybody to use them. So you don't stand out. There are lots of people who don't like to obviously look different, just because the way society judges people very readily. This is one of those things that's like, phew, we are getting there. That it's a lot more acceptable for people to wear to wear their ear defenders or noise cancelling headphones. Yeah, and it's great. And that's the thing when it comes to the auditory processing, with you talking there about like we speak louder, or you end up shouting at each other, and that's never what we want. But those with auditory processing issues will often pick up the pitch. They're really sensitive to the pitch, that kind of tone, and that we would understand it and we would compensate for it. And there are some people, if they had auditory processing issues, that would actually come away. They would come away from an interview if there was any amount of shouting, because they are that sensitive to the voice. So with a lot of our people, we really have to be very regulated ourselves in order to work with them and to love them and to care for them well, because any change in our voice can be really piercing, really painful, really, they can take it really, really personal when it's not meant as a personal attack at all. It's just maybe the environment is a bit louder. So we need to speak a bit louder, which generally makes the voice a bit harsher.
Hence why we had headphones for our guests. So we weren't shouting, which is never a good thing. Now, I know that next week Richard Scott wants to talk about a particular thing on our weekly doctor thing. So I thought I'd pick this up with you now because I thought it was too interesting from a sensory perspective. So, have you heard of PJ in tennis? No, most people haven't. So if you watch a game of tennis, apparently at the like top level, you'll see them. Oh yes, and they're reaching for their PJ when they're having their break. It's called pickle juice. Now, pickle juice medicinally is meant to get rid of cramp. So that's the physical bit, I guess. But
Okay.
here's the thing: pickle juice. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the prize money is. It's still pickle juice. So at some level, you're physically taking something that I'm not sure is, meant to be consumed like that, and you're drinking it. And I was thinking about the sensory implications of drinking something that strong. I mean, pickle juice, I couldn't even sniff it. It's basically like gone off vinegar. That's how I would describe it. But if you
Oh, so
drink it,
literally
yeah, yeah,
pickle,
yeah,
as in something that you would pickle
juice.
something in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, apparently. So footballers are doing it, tennis players, because it's, I don't know, cramp or something. But I'm
Mm.
thinking literally, like I'm drinking a sweet drink right now, which is slightly fizzy for my throat, which is very, very good. Tastes quite pleasant. I'm not sure I could be paid enough to drink voluntarily pickle juice because I'm likely to throw up because of the
Mm.
strength of the smell, the
Hmm.
liquid going down my throat, and it's just. Mm-mm. So I'm thinking from a sensory healthy perspective, one, what needs to be overcome for these athletes? Is it just pound signs? It's worth it because I can help myself do better, or I mean, there's probably a physiological thing. But how do you get past something that is that vile?
Yeah, yeah. I would be interested to see how many Like, I don't know if the word neat applies for pickle juice, like whether you have to have it just pure or whether you can actually add in a bit of sweetness or something to balance out the intensity of that pickle. I'm trying to think which one would it be, but is it sour? Is it bitter? That kind of vinegar. I'm not sure, but we would want to have something in there, or I would want to have something in there that would balance out the intensity of the pickle. Because yeah, goodness me. Yeah, our cognitive, our minds can absolutely override things. And if it is pound signs, we will do anything, or lots of people will do anything for money, unless it is that intense that it's just like, no, it is not going near me. Or as you say, there is going to be a throwing up, an involuntary reaction to the whole thing. In which case, yeah, you need to balance it with something else. There's no other sensory input that I can think of that is going to take away the intensity of what is going to come out of your taste buds. Your tactile receptors, your gustatory receptors in your tongue and around the inside of your mouth is going to pick up some stuff. And you can try jumping around, but most athletes, if it's the athletes that are taking it, that's when they need a break and they need to be still in order for that to happen. Normally I would pair swinging with things. I would pair jumping up and down, muscle work, pushing and pulling. But as far as the intensity of taste, I just think, nah, let's stick with the taste and make it more palatable. What can we do to make it more palatable? Because that to me would not be a sensory healthy experience for me either.
See, now this is one of the reasons why I am not the best tennis player in the world, because I couldn't do pickle juice. Let's just be, that's why I don't play tennis to that level. Same reason why I'm not on your football pitch every day on the TV. Why I would not be doing that.
I see this is a new. I used to play tennis for Jersey. Tennis used to be my game, but pickle juice, thankfully, was not on the menu at that point. Or maybe I just wasn't high enough. Which, yeah, I wasn't high enough.
No,
But that's a new
I
one.
think it's a recent thing, but it's also, but it's pickle juice. Who came up with this? Oh, drink some pickle juice. That's a good idea. I mean, you've got to get past so much.
Yeah, well, maybe like it's all these sauerkraut people who love sauerkraut because they know the health benefits of it all. And yes, every blessing, enjoy it, go for it, keep it on your plate, keep it over your side of the table, over your side of the restaurant. Thank you. Yeah, it's not what I was not what I grew up with. So.
No, me neither. Now, that leads me on very nicely to another element of sensory stuff for parents, particularly. We've all been there if you've had children, or even if perhaps you're an auntie and uncle. The child is sitting down at the table. Everything's happy and relaxed. There's a nice, gentle atmosphere. And then a sprout comes out or a piece of broccoli. And that child is going to become a limpet. It's going to become a clam. The mouth is going to slam shut. Not a chance. That green thing is never going to go in my mouth. Now, part of that, you can say, oh, that's just bad behavior, naughty child. But of course, we also understand when we think about it a little bit more sensibly that it's a very, very strong flavor. And since we also know that our taste buds get milder over time with aging, which is normal, therefore you can track back and think, hey, that pretty strong tasting sprout, which I'm never ever going to eat in my life, by the way, because I'm a grown up now. For a child, that isn't just strong, that is ridiculously strong. Throw in some sensory healthy processing issues as well. All of a sudden, it's not so much a naughty child as it's not just not going to happen. So how do we help? I guess specifically parents is what's on my mind today, who are thinking, how do I get my child to eat greens? It's a really good thing. It's really healthy, but they just don't seem to be able to eat it. I'm not talking about just, bad behavior that happens, but the ones that you just know this has been every week for the last 10 years, they cannot do this.
Yeah. I take it right back. So having something in your mouth is the very last stage of anything that I do. So I have a stress-free mealtime program. It takes you through 12 modules of working how you assess what's going on, how you introduce things, how you look at what's going on in the mouth and or in all the rest of the senses in order for you to actually eat. But yeah, so I would be going back and mushing it. Don't even go near the mouth. Take a year or two just to play. Like people say, well, don't play with your food. But I'm thinking, no, do play with your food. That's exactly what you need to be doing. But don't necessarily put it out in the mealtime. Bring sprouts off the menu and bring them into your play space. So how can you squish them with your what's that bit of your palm? Can you thump them? Can you fist them? Can you make them move? Can you flick them? And play some sprout games. Enjoy the whole concept of a sprout. Throw them at the dartboard. Don't throw them at your other family members. I'm not sure whether you could feed them to the dog. I don't know whether the dog would eat sprouts. That's an interesting one. But can you draw with it? Can you use the green to create something? Can you play marbles with your sprouts? Can you roll them down the path and see, have your sprout games? Just get your child used to having fun and enjoying what a sprout is. And there's a full process that I take people through to actually get it up to the mouth and into the mouth and enjoyable, but starting with it, playing with it. But I like having fun, and I think families should have fun. And I think if somebody's saying no to any food, accept that, and let's work back through the steps in order to get them finally able to put something in their mouth. But it starts with the hands, and it starts with the eyes, being able to see those and not having that aversive response that's just like, oh, yuck. We want to take the yuck out of when they see a sprout, which is where a lot of adults are at. It's like, no, yuck, not not touching that. So it's just like when they see a sprout, we want it to be, oh, fun. It's like, oh, yeah. And so there's a positive association. And then with a positive association, we can build on that in order for that sprout eventually, in good time, in its own good time, will be consumed. More likely to be consumed, I should say.
More likely, and not in this household. We don't have sprouts ever, under any circumstances, for all sorts of reasons. Broccoli, good. But this is the thing: some of these vegetables are very, very strong tasting. Now, spinach is probably at the top end of stuff that's really, really strong. Parsnips might be another one that's quite strong. Looks like a potato, really, really isn't. I know, because someone tried to trick me one day and I almost threw up. No, never going to happen.
Don't trick people. This is one of my biggest things as well. It's just like, if you've got something that looks like something, it should taste like something. The last thing you want to do is to trick people to eat anything, because you're more likely to put them off loads more foods. So don't hide things in your food. Don't trick people. You can blend foods up if you're not going to change the taste of something so much. So in order to get greens in, but certainly do not pretend that something that they do like, or there's something that looks like something that they look like a parsnip and a potato. It's like, no, make sure that they are different, and then you'll not put them off eating a potato.
I haven't eaten parsnips since I was about 5, funnily enough.
Wow.
Somebody thought it would be funny to trick me. Yes. It's amazing how that works. Full times with a parsnip. Vegetables can be a tough one. I know lots of people. Mashed potato is absolute classic. Get your broccoli, mash it up, sprinkle it in your mash. Potato and salt. No one's going to know the difference. So there are things we can do, like you say, that's quite sensible. But they're not tricking people. That's not tricking is never good.
No, we want to build on trust. So much of what we do, and so much of what parents need to be doing. I have my tiny little bugbears throughout the year. There are certain times of the year when society wants, parents to not be quite so truthful, if truth be told, about what is going on and who is arriving in their house and down their chimneys and coming to take their teeth, and all kinds of things that our funny little society thinks is a good idea. But it takes away the trust that can be built up between a parent and a child, because you want your child to be able to trust you and trust what you say, and that you are doing the best for them. There is maturity, but there's a lot of trust that can be broken in the process of thinking this is fun. Yeah.
So foods is an interesting one. So one of my sons can't eat fish fingers. Never has been able to. Loves fish, loves bits around the fish finger, can't eat fish fingers. And we thought, he's been sick. That's not exactly shocking for a child to see them throw up. It's not exactly a shocking thing. But every single time we did fish fingers, although he enjoyed it, we always got to see it twice. And it's just, there's something about the texture, I think, because it's not the foods themselves. He's never, ever been able to process that. I'm not going to say which one, but they just were not able to. So Funny enough, he never ever had fish fingers for the last 15, 20 years because it's not worth it. As much as he likes fish, we'll do fish a different way. We won't put it in breadcrumbs or batter or whatever you get a fish finger to be, because he just can't eat it. And why would
Yeah.
you say, well, eat it this way? It's good for you. Everybody else does. You should be eating this. Now we're just piling guilt. And do you know there are other ways to get fish and it hasn't got to be in a fish finger shape?
Yes, absolutely. With all things, it's just like there's always, nearly always another way. There's always a way around something, or I'm always trying to find a way around. So we get the same end result, just the journey with which we take a family or take a child to a place is often different. But there's many routes to most things.
Now, sprouts, again, if you're slightly older and more mature, you might quite like a sprout. But it's not the same for a child because your taste buds have now desensitized over age. They're wearing out. What happens to the body. So by the time you're in your 60, 70, 80, all of a sudden sprouts are the best thing ever because it's got a nice strong flavor. When you're 6, 7, 8, that
Yeah.
strong flavor can result in projectile things happening.
Yes, I know. Okay, you could always try and pair it. I mean, just bacon. For some reason, bacon and sprouts seems to go really, really well. There seems, or adding that extra sugar. But then you're balancing up the taste aspect, that the bitter, the sour. You are balancing and rebalancing and readdressing and taking down that level of the bitter and the sour by adding so much more salt and the sugars. So you can caramelize sprouts and you can do all kinds of things for those who have a little more tolerance to be able to balance out that particular taste. But there are some for whom, it's still nothing's gonna override it. Nothing's gonna balance it out enough to compensate.
You see, I've always said bacon makes everything better. If you provided me with bacon and sprouts, I'm going to eat the bacon. That would work for me. Yeah, but food's a funny one, isn't it? Because we have personal tastes and flavors and things we like and things we don't like. And depending on what country we're born in and raised in or have spent most of our time eating food in, they're going to have food very differently. In France, I was completely appalled as a 12-year-old the first time I saw steak in France and thinking, are you going to cook it at any point so it's no longer just blood? But that's normal. And all of a sudden you go into Britain and everyone says, well, you burn your steaks, So we've got different ways. Neither is right or wrong. They're just different. But of course, if you're not used to being in France, I know your mum's French, but for me, it was just, what can I have a cooked meal? I couldn't comprehend what had gone on. Yet it's quite normal. And you go to a different country, it'd be different again. And the things there are cultural, regional approaches to food and so on. But we do need to be conscious. Now, the family were very good. They knew because they've been warned and told when the English come and you provide them with your steak, it's probably going to get rejected. Don't be upset. So they just wanted to see how far they could get away with it. It was quite funny actually in the end. But they were very sweet with me because they knew that I was not going to be okay with that probably. And so they went off and cooked it another 3 times till I thought I was okay with it. But this is food. I would have struggled to eat that because it's just not what I'm used to. You can watch Bear Grylls eating bugs, whatever. Let's leave that one to one side. But normal foods, I mean, if you can't eat a sprout, hey, you don't have to. Just say it. Sprout, it's okay to leave the sprouts. You can have cabbage, you can have broccoli, and you can have different vegetables, and all of a sudden you're still getting a good diet.
Thus saith Andy B. There you go. For those of you who don't like sprouts, you have the permission. Oh, I just think they should take their sprouts and play with them. Like go and throw them at a darts board.
10-pin sprouting, that'd be good. You can get the parsnips, which are sort of pin shaped, can you? Cut the bottoms off, make them flat, put those in little rows, and use your parsnips. It's vegetable 10-pin bowling. Parsnips and sprouts. I'm full of all sorts of sensible things sometimes. There you are. So food. I just thought it's interesting, the pickle juice thing, because it's a very strong flavor, which led me on to children specifically, because that is a particular struggle for children. It's going to be. I know it's one of the biggest bugbears. If you ever go to a restaurant, I've not been for years now, but if you go to a restaurant, there's always a family, and you just see the mum and the dad are just please eat the food, please eat the food, please eat the food, because they know it's going to be a battle. But if they're not eating it happily at home, they're not going to eat it happily in a restaurant where they have absolutely every option to make life even more difficult for you. So get it right in the home. It's the best place for the foundation.
Yeah, and it's lovely with some of our families that come through the sensory super system as we take them through and get the assessment of why their child would struggle in a restaurant, not just the food, but the whole sensory environment. And we work that through, and then the results are we can now go out for a meal because actually we've changed the position where they sit, so they're not sitting with their back to the door, so they can actually have a look and make sure that they can see everybody, so they're not going to get touched unexpectedly. They can see the waiters coming. They've got a they're much more clued in to what is happening at the restaurant, and also food's not coming surprisingly to them. It's so much of this surprise element that folks struggle with, and they can have a look and see, oh yeah, they're bringing that dish over there, and there's that dish over there. Oh, and their chips, oh right, okay, so they're thick chips, not the thin chips. I want the thin chips. So even when you think you're having your chicken and chips, the chips that were like, what does that mean? But when they can actually physically see someone else on another table getting the particular type of chip, or they want curly chips, or they can see that the curly chips are an option, then they can relax more into the experience of being at a restaurant, and they can control the sights and the sounds maybe a little bit more depending on where they're placed. They can plug things in. Yeah, there's a whole way of looking at how can we help going out? How can we enable you as a family to actually get out to a restaurant? Because that's a lovely thing. It's a lovely bonding thing for people who can, for people who can afford it, whether it be McDonald's or whether it be high-end restaurant. There's always little things that we can do to make life that bit better and help family life.
You see, every time I have a sprout, which is never, I was always surprised. It's the surprise that makes me think, no, this just isn't going to happen. And I was also surprised just how utterly strong it was as a flavor. So sprouts not for me. Broccoli, okay, I'm all right with that. I like greens, I like other things, but see, cabbage I love with mint jelly. It's one of those perfect combinations that people think, what's wrong with you? It tastes great.
I'm going to tell my husband that because he told me a story, and I'm sure he won't mind me airing it. But he used to take the cabbage off his plate when he was growing up, and used to stick it in his bedroom. So it was just like I don't know what happened to it, but he like him and cabbage is not a good fit. But maybe I'll go home and say, oh, we might have some cabbage. Andy B says try it with some mint.
Mint
So
jelly
yeah,
is
he
good.
has. What's that?
Mint jelly.
Mint
Not
jelly.
not the mint sauce, but mint jelly.
Ah,
Something about the texture of the jelly against the cabbage makes it really, really nice.
there you go. Something to try.
I know. Was I going to say something else then? It's completely gone. Peas. I understand, Ivan, because I was always given peas. I hated the texture of the shell. I just physically could not get it down my throat. I just couldn't do it. And we had peas loads as a kid. And I always used to wait until I was abandoned with my plate of peas and I chuck them behind the cupboard because I was think I cannot eat them. To this day, I still can't. There's something about the texture. But of course, well, you're terrible. You're bad. You need to eat your peas. But I really, really can't. And there was
No.
something about the texture that was just, I couldn't get it down my throat.
Tell me, how are mushy peas for you? Because I can't do the whole mushy pea thing because of the texture. How are you with mushy
Mm.
peas? Is that any better for you or not?
I've never had mushy peas. I have petit pois, the little baby ones.
Oh,
They're
they're
quite
lovely.
nice.
Yeah, yeah,
With
yeah.
vinegar. Very nice.
Oh, so you take that in vinegar, just not too much.
Yeah, just a little bit like normal, like vinegar you put on your chips in the UK. A bit of that on the peas, petit pois, not peas, and they're great. I like that.
Huh.
It changes the texture there because but the putty ones are quite nice. But the old-fashioned garden British hard pea, that one, I couldn't chew it, and it was just, bleh. And I waited till I was alone. And I used to chuck it down behind a cupboard
There you go. Oh, I
because I
think
hated
we've
it that
had some
bad.
great conversation starters. I think for those who are driving home at
Emotional
this point,
healing.
or have this on in the background. If you're cooking tea, then there's a conversation starter for you for sure.
And if you find your children are starting to put things behind the cupboard and it's food related, blame Ivan for his cabbage or me for my peas. That's fine. We're grown men. We don't care. I suspect Ivan's lovely. Right, Anne, thank you. If you want to get hold of Anne and get hold of her how to help your child eat food healthily thing, you can do that. She's got a church, Sensory Healthy Church program coming up as well. All of those things you can connect via our website, pure247radio.org, pure247radio.org/ALJ, and you can connect with Anne, Laure Jackson, and more.
Brilliant.
Thank you
Thank
kindly.
you.
The February edition of Pure Media, the magazine, features some amazing chat with our Atlantic roots. This truly lovely and down-to-earth folk duo sit down with us to talk music, life, faith and travel. Martin Bateman sits down with us too to talk about Ambassadors football. He talks about how he came to be where he is today. If you love football, you'll love this. If you love life, you'll love it even more. With a 6-month subscription to the UK costing just 48 quid, including postage, head over to puremediathemagazine.com and you'll be properly sorted with this amazing magazine, arriving at your door to brighten your day and your world. Yes, it really is that good. We also have subscriptions available for the US and more, so go check it out now. With no AI, this amazing magazine is made by real people for real people. Pick up yourself a copy. You won't want to put it down. Nobody does. We are always on point and always in print at www.puremediathemagazine.com.